If you are a developer looking for top American jobs, you would want to watch this video till the end. Have you ever wondered what life would be like if you could work from home forever? Would you stay at home, sip a cup of coffee while writing code, or would you rather teleport yourself to the hills and live in the lap of nature? Hello and welcome to Turing Developer Diaries. I'm Arina Khan, joining from Gurgaon, India, and I shall be your host for today. Turing, a leader in the remote workspace, is a platform that connects Silicon Valley companies with brilliant, pre-vetted remote software engineers from across the globe. We promise that if you watch this video, you would definitely want to have a look at their website today. The link is in the description below. Without further ado, let's welcome Jose, who is joining us from Ontario, Canada. He has been a developer for 16 long years, and today he is the React Node tech lead at Turing.com. We will know more about the important tips to crack a React Node interview, and we'll also get to learn more about how you must stay up to date with the latest technological trends. Hi, Jose. Thank you so much for taking time out for this discussion. How are you doing, and how's the weather in Ontario?
Hi, Alina. First of all, nice to meet you. But if you asked me this question last week, I would say that the sun is very shiny outside. The temperature is really warm outside, but today it's really cold. So the temperature is around 5, maybe 4 Celsius degrees, and you cannot go outside wearing a t-shirt for sure. But as you know, in Canada, we have a lot of snow. Now we have 4 to 6 months of snow every year, and it's almost impossible to know where is the road and where is the sidewalk, for example. But I love that.
That sounds quite amazing. Actually, the weather here as well is quite erratic. It was very sunny during the day today, and it just rained a while back. So you never know what happens.
Yeah, here no. Here, if you see the sun outside, but it doesn't mean it's hot. The temperature could be really cold. Yes.
Okay. Now, Jose, I think our audience must be pretty intrigued about your background. So I think let's begin with a quick introduction. Tell us more about yourself and what is your story?
Yes. My name is Jose. So I'm Brazilian, and I have a big last name like everybody in Brazil. Okay, and I have a technician degree in analysis and development software. So I started my career a long time ago, creating desktop applications using Delphi. And that was a good time for sure. But after a few months working in that company, they decided to migrate all desktop application for web applications, and then I have to adapt myself and learning new technology, new language, in that case, PHP. And since that, I have been working on the web environment. And I always take the responsibility to work with things that other people doesn't like to, like setting up database, work on the servers, even working for JavaScript in that time. And they always prefer, the other developers in my team, the company in that time always prefer to work as a backend because they think it's more easy, And then I have learning JavaScript to help them. And nowadays, JavaScript is my strongest skill, and I love it. And I always try to be the first one to arrive in the company and the last one to leave. It makes me work a lot. Yeah.
That sounds pretty amazing. And I'm really glad to have such an interesting person on the panel today.
Oh, thank you.
In fact, it's fascinating to see how the tables have turned. You were a developer 15 years back, and today you are a technical interviewer. How does it finally feel to be on the other side of the table?
Yes, that's interesting because I had tons of interviews like this in the past, and I failed a lot of them. So I had tons of interviews like this in the past, okay, and I failed a lot of them because I was unprepared. So nowadays, the reasons that the developers fail are almost the same. They are unprepared for this kind of interview because during the interview, you have to sell yourself, right? The interview doesn't know you. He doesn't know your background or your friends. And nobody will tell the interviewer to hire, hey, hire this person because he's a great developer. So no, you have to do it by yourself. And sometimes you have only 3 minutes, maybe 1 hour to talk with the interviewer and try to convince them that you are a great fit for his opportunities. Okay, and just to complete my answer, I feel real bad when they are not prepared to take this interview and fail because in general they are a good developer, a good person, and what they're trying to do is get a good job.
Nice. I can only imagine how that would feel actually in real. And I think you've come a very, very long way. And I think, and I know for a fact that you're going to do great in the near future as well.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Now, Jose, you just mentioned that you've been on both sides of the spectrum. So my next question will be to the developer Jose, who we knew 15 years back. How did you level up to get to this point in your career? What all did you have to do?
Okay, this is a fun thing. Let me start from the beginning. Okay, so my sister started studying software development first. So in that time, I was working with my mother as a babysitter. No, I was a babysitter in her business, which was transport schooling. I get kids from their home and take the school, and delivering their home, something like that. But that was a fun thing. And in the point of time, my sister started sharing her learnings with me, and I got fascinated about that. And then a few months later, I started studying the same college with her, and I started studying analysis and development software, and I've never stopped learning until now. Okay, I learn every day, and I try to keep me updated with my strong skills nowadays is JavaScript. Okay, but during my career, I have worked in all positions. I've worked at the back end, in the front end, as a DBA with database, configuring servers, and I always become the tech lead of the team because of that, because my background, right? And they usually follow me because of that. Because I know how to talk with people from different areas of the company. And I used to work as a bridge between the teams. Talk with front end, talk with the back end, talk with the front end and the back end at the same time, the database guys, the architecture guys, the security guys. And also I took some course like Scrum. I became a Scrum Master, and how to be an inclusive leader. The leader that is part of the team, not the one that say, you do it. No, I try to share knowledge. I try to ask them how to do things. And because of the COVID, I had to search for another job. It was last year, right? And then I found Turing in this position, but I didn't know about anything about that. And then I applied for that. So when Zach is my current tech lead now. When Zach replied the email and interviewed me and passed me, I got so excited. You can't believe that. But during my first week interviewing on other people professionally, I just realized I was not prepared to do that and had to improve all my skills. And I have to learn everything. So I started learning how to interview people, okay, how to conduct interview like this. And I watched tons of job interview on YouTube, and I create my own method to interview people and to extract the best I can from them. And I still learn about this position, okay, because it's not easy to interview people. Okay, if you say something wrong, they will question you. They will say what, you are wrong. That's not good for me. That's not good for Turing, right? And then I have to be up to date for every answer. So during the interview, they usually ask you questions, and if you give them a wrong answer, it could be two things. You could guide them to the wrong way, or they will question you again, and they will say, "Man, I'm sorry, you are not prepared to conduct this interview."
Yeah, that's quite a heartwarming story, and you've mentioned your entire journey. It's very impressive, I must say.
Thank you. Okay.
So the next part of my question will be to the interviewer Jose that we see on our screens today. What do you suggest aspiring developers at this point in time? How should they stay up to date with the current trends in their field?
All right. This is an interesting question because they always ask me this kind of question during the interview. I always say, make friends. Okay, be proactive. I recommend you join specific Facebook groups in your area, in your strong area. If you want to learn about React or Python, join Facebook group for that. So follow other developers on Twitter or YouTube. Another common question that they ask me is how I learn things, and I always say, first, start with the documentation, okay, and then go to YouTube and watch hundreds of videos for the same subjects until you have a clear understanding of how it works. And if you find a video that clarifies your mind, follow the guy, because he probably could help you in other things as well. And second, exercise that. So memorize how to write code, okay, without any snippets, because it will make a difference when you talk with other developers or interview like me.
I actually agree with your points a lot. It's very important to be proactive first, and secondly, practice makes a developer or anybody else perfect. So I think it's very important to practice as well.
Yes, that's it.
Now let us have a look at the technical side of things, Jose. We know that the wave of technological advancements seems to bring about a new language almost every waking hour. So in that respect, and in your expert opinion, what do you think US companies look for in aspiring developers in terms of skill sets and their collaboration abilities?
All right. Okay. What I realized, was there a high demand for Python, for Node.js, Golang, and Ruby for backend, and front-end React.js, Angular. Okay, but also I realized there is a positions for new technologies like Vue.js and for DevOps as well. But this is my opinion. Okay, it could be a little bit different, but in general, that's what I realized. But the first skill is not even related to any language or framework, but to the ability to solve their problems, okay, and design this system. So what I'm trying to say is, if you know, for example, Python or Golang or JavaScript, they will say, yeah, you are a good development. But you probably will find a good job, right? But if you have the ability to solve their problem or design their system and combine that with your strong skill like Python, for example, they will say, yeah, you are the greatest developer of the world, and I need you. Okay, and they probably will ask you if you have friends like you. Nice.
Okay, I hope our audience is listening carefully, because it is super important to stay up to date with the current technological advancements as well as upskilling yourself time and again.
Yes.
Now, Jose, you've talked about the skills that US companies look for in aspiring developers. We would also like you to talk about what Turing looks for in its developers. Can you share a few tips and tricks so that our audience can prepare themselves better for the Turing test?
Yes, of course. So I love to pass them. Okay, just to record that. I love to pass them. I love when I ask them simple questions and then they give me a complete answer. Okay, but regarding to my tips, okay, how to pass my interview. Okay, so first you must know the JavaScript concepts, because to work with React.js and Node.js, for example, you must understand how JavaScript works, right? And the concepts of React and Angular as well. So I always will ask you a simple question, but try to give me complete solution, okay? Because we can discuss about that for sure, and care about the performance of the application. Okay, try to create simple functions, not complex. Try to learn about the time and the space complexity, and try to make simple things. And if you do that, I will be glad to pass you for sure. And that will change your life for sure, because it starts with me.
That's very interesting, and it's very nice to see that coming from you, especially because you are a React Node interviewer at Turing.
Yes.
To all aspiring developers, here I would like to add and emphasize the fact that Turing has job opportunities with elite US companies in 100 plus technologies. If you believe to be confident in the skill set that you possess, you can apply to Turing.com today. Head on to Turing.com/jobs. Coming back to you, Jose, we know that a variety of developers sit for these interviews, the technical interviews that you take, especially. And some might be prepared for the interview, others might not be so much. Is there any one aspect that you particularly look for in aspiring developers when you're interviewing them?
Yes, sure. So first, read the documentation. Okay, everything's there. So try to understand how React.js actually works in this case, how the React reconciliation process works, what the React fiber is, what it does for you. Okay, what are class components, what are function components, because that's not only concepts, they are real world. You find something like this in projects around the world. Some companies work with old version of React, some companies work with new version of React, okay? And how to share the state of the application between different components. Think about data structure, okay? Because it will save your time. So think about data structure and how to memorize function and data, because it could help you to create better application. So try to modularize your application as much as you can. Okay, create components and try to reuse them as much as you can. Maybe even share them between other applications. Okay, and my last word about this is test your components, okay, or codes as much as you can, and only publish them when you are confident that they won't break your application.
That's quite some insight. And I hope and expect all aspiring developers, React Node developers especially, to be taking notes from this interview so that they can clear the next interview that they sit for. Now, Jose, we have a very clear picture of what Turing looks for in aspiring developers. I would like you to share your personal experience of being with the company. How has Turing impacted your life?
Yeah, that's awesome. So Turing has changed my life. Okay, working remotely for me means that you have free time, and you can use that free time for many different things, like play with your kids or your pet if you don't have kids. Okay, or with both. You can play with your kids, your pet, because you have time to do, and you can use that time for distress. You can use that time also to start a new hobby that I did it. So I start a new hobby that I have to learn a lot of stuff, okay, and I love it. So I can show you something. So this is my new job, my new hobby. So I start create things like this. Like,
this
I love it.
This pretty awesome.
Yes, look what I create.
Wow.
I create this.
How did you create this, by the way?
I got the design from one guy and then modified the design, okay, and I print this and I made my own design, right? So this is look, this is a lamp that I'm doing for my kid. We'll build something like that. And in the bottom will be lights like this. See, and it is really shining during the night. So yeah, I encourage you to do something like that if you want. Okay, regarding the salary, Turing pays a competitive salary for you. Okay, it means a lot of money. Okay, it probably is higher than you will receive in your country. Okay, and Turing don't require a visa. Okay, for you, if you pass in Turing vetting process, you will start working for high-tech silicon companies. That's amazing. Once you have this experience in your country, you'll be the best developer. Everybody would like to work with you for sure.
That sounds amazing, and that looks like a pretty awesome company to be at.
Yeah.
To everybody listening, if you are a developer who hasn't yet tried Turing, I think it is time to click on the link in the description and apply to Turing today. I think, Jose, we have had quite an interesting discussion. But before we let you go, there's this one last question that I would like to ask you. I would like you to share a few tips with our fellow developers who are looking to apply to Turing. How should they prepare such that they clear the Turing test?
Okay. First, watch this video. Okay. Again, because I gave you a lot of tips during this video. But final tip: learn a lot. Never stop learning. Okay. Make friends. Okay. Join groups. Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, Discord, Slack groups, and then read everything, because people will share their projects, will share their dreams, even position, okay, job positions. You can participate of that kind of groups, and to pass an Turing test with me, you have to know the things. No, that's what I think.
Thank you so much for sharing such valuable advice. And I would also recommend everybody, like Jose said, please watch this video, because you're going to get a lot of insights from whatever Jose has shared today with us. Thank you, Jose. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're glad to have you as a part of our ever-growing family, and we hope that this interview reaches the larger developer community so that it helps us give great opportunities to many more skilled developers like you. To everybody out there, we'd be happy to answer any and every question that you have. You can drop us your queries at support@turing.com. Let us know in the comments below how you like this video. Give us a big fat thumbs up if you like this video. And do not forget to click on the bell icon to subscribe to Turing.com. We will be back with many more such Turing developer stories. Till then, stay safe and click on the link in the description below to apply to Turing. Thank you.